Hey everyone, I'm Dia, and in this video, you guys are going to learn how to position different shapes to make a picture. Before watching this video, make sure you watched the previous videos and are able to draw different shapes in Trinket blocks. To draw a picture using Turtle, you'll need to pick your pen up and move it. And there are two ways to move your pen, using coordinates and using distance. Using coordinates gives your pen a specific spot to move to. And this is useful if you need to move your pen diagonally, and it saves time because you don't need to figure out the angle you need to turn and the distance you need to move, because using coordinates just tells your pen where to go. So in Trinket blocks, the window where the image is drawn is like a coordinate grid. The center of the screen is like the origin, and it's 0, 0. Remember that in a coordinate pair, the first number is the x value, and tells you how much to move to the right or to the left, and the second number is the y value, which tells you how much to move up or down. If you're having trouble remembering this, think of an elevator. First, you need to walk to the right or to the left to find an elevator. Once you find the elevator, then you're able to move up or down. So in a coordinate system, it is established that moving to the right and moving up is positive, and then the left and going down is negative, and all movements are relative to the center 0, 0. So let's say you want to move somewhere up here in this direction. Well, the x coordinate would be positive, and the y would also be positive, because you move to the right of the origin, and you're also above the origin. If you're somewhere over here in this section, the x coordinate would be negative, but the y would be positive because you're to the left of the origin now, but you're still above the origin. If you're down over here, both the x and the y would be negative because you're to the left of the origin and you're below the origin. And if you go somewhere over here, your x coordinate would be positive and your y coordinate would be negative because you are to the right of the origin, but you're also below the origin. So these four sections are called quadrants. In quadrant 1, every point will have a positive x value and a positive y value because every point in quadrant 1 is to the right and above the origin. In quadrant 2, every point will have a negative x value and a positive y value because every point in this quadrant will always be to the left of the origin, but also be above the origin. In quadrant 3, every point will have a negative x and a negative y value, because all of the points in this quadrant are below and to the left of the origin. And in quadrant 4, all of the points will have a positive x value and a negative y value, because all of the points in that quadrant are to the right of the origin, but they're still below the origin. So let's say you want to move just in one direction. You don't need to move to the left or to the right, left and above the origin, or you don't need to move to the right and below the origin. So if you're only going to move straight to the right, straight to the left, straight up or straight down, I would recommend just using distance because it's easier just to say move 100 in this direction rather than giving it some coordinates to go to. But if you do want to do that, I can still show you and explain it to you. So using coordinates to move only in one direction means that one of the values will have a 0. So let's say you're going to move over here, straight to the right. You'll have a positive x value, but the y value will be 0 because you're not moving up or down. Same over here. If you move up, you're not moving right or left, so you'll have a 0 as the x value, but a positive y value. If you decide to move to the left of the origin, you'll have a negative x value, but the y value will be 0 because you're not moving up or down. And if you move below the origin, you'll have 0 in the x value because you're not moving to the left or right, and you'll have a negative y value because you moved below the origin. So to move your pen to a specific spot, first you have to make sure you pick your pen up. Otherwise, when you try to move your pen, there's going to be a line connecting the 2 points, and it's going to look really messy. So make sure you pick your pen up first. Then go back to the Turtle tab and you'll find this block over here that says Go To. And you can see they give you the space to enter the coordinates. And you can enter the coordinates, whatever coordinates you need to go to. But make sure you don't put something too large because then it'll go off the screen. So because there is no one exact way to draw anything, you're going to have to play around with the coordinates to make sure everything looks the way you want it to. It might seem time consuming, but once you get the hang of it, it'll go a lot quicker and it will definitely be easier than trying to figure out the angles and distance if you're moving diagonally. So I want you guys to try this on your own right now. Draw a square, then move your pen to draw another square in some other quadrant. Pause the video right now to try this. This should be similar to what you did. So as you can see, I decided to make my thing, my square, in the third quadrant because both of my values are negative. So I drew a square using a loop and then I picked my pen up. Be sure to put your pen back down. If you don't put it down, you'll see the turtle still moving, but you won't see it actually making a square. If you weren't able to find this, you just have to drag the pen up button again and you click and you'll see a drop down menu appear and you just select down. So this is how you move your pen using coordinates. You guys should be familiar with using distance to draw objects. And by this, I mean moving forwards or moving backwards by a certain amount. And you guys use this block to draw different shapes like squares or hexagons. You can also use this block to move your pen. So all you need to do is make sure you pick your pen up first, and then you're going to use this block to move forward by. You can change it to move backwards if you need to. And like I said earlier, you're going to have to play around with the numbers. It may be 10, it may be 100, it may be 150, who knows? It's your picture. After that, be sure you put your pen back down, otherwise you're not going to see anything being drawn. So I want you guys to try this on your own. Draw a square and then move your pen somewhere else. Move it some direction, some amount forwards or backwards, and draw another square. Pause the video right now to try this. So this should be similar to what you did. As you can see, I drew a square using a loop. I moved my pen and then I put it back down after picking it up, of course, and then I drew another square. So there's one thing I should warn you about. When I run this code, it'll draw the square and then you see it moves. But you need to be careful that whatever you think is forward isn't always what the turtle thinks is forward. As you can see right now, my turtle is facing to the right. So the turtle thinks forward means going to the right. If that's not what you thought, if you thought forward means going down or you want it to go down, then you're going to have to play around with it. You're going to have to turn the turtle, maybe by 90 degrees, maybe by a weird angle, depending on which way you want the turtle to go. And that's how you move your pen using distance. So today's activity requires you to draw a house in trinket blocks. And to do this, you're going to need to move your pen using both coordinates and distance. Your final product should look something like this. I would recommend changing the color for different objects so you can see them. And to do this, I set the pen to a random color before drawing the window and the door and the doorknob. Otherwise, you're going to have a blue square on top of a blue square, and you're just going to see one giant blue square. And you're not going to see the actual house you drew. So thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have fun drawing a house.